All right, the other day we learned how to simplify square roots. Today we're going to learn how to multiply and divide square roots. This is a skill that you'll need for tomorrow's lesson. Okay, so let's take a look. Sometimes you'll end up in a problem with something that looks like this: 4 times the square root of 72. And what you always want to look at is, can you simplify the square root of 72? And if so, you should do that and then multiply that answer times 4. So when we're doing the square root of 72, we have a couple of different prime numbers we can divide evenly into 72. Stetson, take out the ear. What's one thing that we could divide by? We can divide by 3. 3 goes into 7 twice, and that's 6, so there's 1 left over. 3 goes into 12 4 times. And once I start dividing by 3, I'm going to keep dividing by 3 until I can't anymore. 3 goes into 24 8 times. 2 goes into 8 4 times. 2 goes into 4 twice. 2 goes into 2 once. So that's a 3 times 2. So we keep the 4, we still have that, times 3 times 2 times, we have a square root of 2 still left over. So times the square root of 2. Hunter.
Yo, what's up?
We're doing a lesson.
Okay.
It'd be nice if you were with us.
Yeah.
Thank you. So 4 times 3 is 12, times 2 is 24. So this is 24 square roots of 2. So anytime you end up with an answer like this, always check to see if you can simplify, especially if this is any kind of a big number. Now, sometimes we'll have problems where we'll need to do something like this: 7 square roots of 2 times the square root of 2. What we're going to do is group these two together. What's the square root of 2 times the square root of 2? 2. So this is 14. All right, now, if they're not the same, then we'll just multiply them together and see if we can simplify. So we'll still group these together. The square root of 5 times the square root of 3 is the square root of 15. If I try to simplify the square root of 15, well, we know that that's 3 times 5. Are either of these factors alike? No, so it can't be simplified. We'll just leave it as 11 square roots of 15. Let's do the same thing on this one. We'll group these two together. So it'll be 12 square roots of how much? 45. Very nice. And then check, can you simplify the square root of 45? What would you divide into 45 first? There's a couple of things. 5, that's what I would do also. So that goes into there 9 times. And then what will I divide into 9? 3. 3 divides into 9 3 times. 3 divides into 3 once. Square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is 3. So I've got 12 times 3 times the square root of 5. 12 times 3 is 36. So it's 36 square roots of 5. Let's do the same thing on this one. We're just going to multiply those square roots together. So this will be 19 times the square root of 12. Go ahead. And we'll see if we can simplify the square root of 12. Two goes into 12 6 times. 2 goes into 6 3 times, and 3 goes into 3 once. So I've got 2 and a square root of 3 still left. So I've got 19 times the 2 and the square root of 3. 19 times 2 is 38. So it's 38 square roots of 3. All right, that's multiplying. We're going to be doing a lot of multiplying. And most of the time when we multiply, well, we're multiplying by the square root of 2 or by the square root of 3. We're not going to be multiplying by like the square root of 17 or something like that. It's mostly pretty small numbers. All right. Now let's look at dividing and simplifying. So there's one rule when you divide by a square root. In the end, you can't have a square root on bottom. You cannot have a square root in the denominator. So we're always going to rewrite these as fractions. This is 17 square roots of 2 divided by the square root of 2. This is the easiest problem you'll ever see like these. What's the square root of 2 divided by the square root of 2? 1. So this is just 17. Because the square root of 2 divided by the square root of 2 is 1.
Students and teachers, pardon the interruption. If you purchased a night of worship or you received a night of worship shirt today, you are allowed to wear that with jeans tomorrow, but only if you have received that shirt today, you may wear jeans and a t-shirt. That comes for students and faculty. Thank you.
Thursday night's night of worship. If you have registered for that, they gave out t-shirts today, and you can wear.
Okay, so like, I can't wear jeans tomorrow if I wanted to, if I don't have the shirt.
That's correct.
That's
Hey, that's not.
that's
I
crazy.
bet. Sorry, Hunter.
It's all good, big bro.
All right. So for this one, we'll do the same sort of thing. Always check to see if the square roots can be divided. I'm going to teach you something in just a minute, and people are going to stop checking this, and they're going to make life hard on themselves. So, how many times does 3 go into 15? 5 times. So this is 84 square roots of 5. Because 3 divides into 15 5 times. Oh, it was 18, it was 15, and we crossed it out. It looks like it now that I've crossed it out. It doesn't look like 5 anymore, it looks like an 8. All right, well, what if there isn't a square root on top? What are we going to do? Well, we're going to use a mathematical technique that's called rationalizing the denominator. Garrett, you okay?
Hey, Garrett.
You okay? All right. See if you can stay with us. So we've got 16 divided by the square root of 2. So here's how we rationalize the denominator. Whatever that square root is that's in the denominator on the bottom, we're going to multiply the top and the bottom by that square root. So I'm multiplying by 1, right? The square root of 2 over the square root of 2 is 1, but it's going to make a world of difference for me. So I multiply straight across. 16 times the square root of 2 is 16 square roots of 2. But on bottom, what's the square root of 2 times the square root of 2? 2. Now I don't have a square root on the bottom anymore. And I've got two whole numbers. Does 16 divide by 2 equally? Yeah. 2 goes into 16 8 times. So this is 8 square roots of 2.
How do you get 2 on the bottom?
What's the square root of 2 times the square root of 2?
Oh, yeah. Right?
Yeah, the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is 2. So that's what we're making use of. This next one will be similar. Peter, why don't you mind your own business?
She's saying.
I don't care. If it bugs you that much, maybe ask nicely instead of shushing her all the time.
You stop saying.
So here we'll have 23 over the square root of 3. We don't want that square root of 3 on bottom, so we'll multiply both the numerator and the denominator by the square root of 3. That's going to give me 23 square roots of 3 over what? 3. Will 3 divide evenly into 23? No. You're done. Just leave it that way. We're going to do 2 more examples. Yes, I know there's only one there, but we're going to do one more after that. So this is 42 square roots of 2 divided by the square root of 3. I can't divide 3 into 2 evenly, so I'm going to multiply by the square root of 3 over the square root of 3. That'll give me 42 square roots of 6, just multiplying the square root of 2 and the square root of 3 together, over 3. Will 3 divide evenly into 42?
Yes.
Yeah, how many times does it go in?
13.
Try again?
14.
14. Yeah. So we're going to add one more example.
What is your last name?
So we'll rewrite that as a fraction, 19 square roots of 6 over the square root of 3. Then what are we going to do? I'm sorry? Say it. By? Yes. Because these are both square roots, we don't want to rationalize the denominator here. We want to just go, oh, 3 goes into 6 twice, and this is 19 square roots of 2. So don't just automatically start rationalizing the denominator. You don't need to every time. All right. I have a worksheet for you.